The Lancet has recently launched a series on stillbirth, and here to discuss that with me is Dr. Joy Lawn, who coordinated the team that did the estimates for the series. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now Joy, how large an issue is stillbirth?
These new estimates show that there are 2.6 million stillbirths every year. That's more than 7,200 a day. And one of the really shocking things is that 1.2 million of those happen after the woman has gone into labour.
Now those are obviously startlingly high numbers, yet most people won't have even been aware that this is an issue. Some people have called it the invisible killer. Why has stillbirth been so overlooked?
Indeed. In fact, stillbirth is invisible. It's been invisible at the individual level. For most women, even in high-income countries, it's relatively recent that stillbirth would be talked about for a woman who experiences one. And in low-income countries, not only is it hidden for that woman, but maybe she's even blamed for it. So at the individual level, it's hidden. At the community level, people don't talk to people who've had a stillbirth. It isn't discussed. There isn't a ritual around a stillbirth event for families. And then at the policy level, if we look at how global numbers work, if you go through 9 months of pregnancy and your baby dies just after birth, that baby counts. That baby becomes part of a Millennium Development Goal target 4. But if your baby dies during birth or just before birth and in those last 12 weeks of pregnancy, the baby doesn't count. Stillbirths count for the women, but they aren't currently counting in the global data.
Now, of course, stillbirth is intrinsically linked with child and maternal mortality, yet it wasn't a Millennium Development Goal. Do you think it should have been?
I think that the progress towards the Millennium Development Goals has probably helped stillbirths a bit. Over the last year, we've seen that maternal mortality has really gone up the agenda. We have a massive commitment just last September for $40 billion of new dollars to invest particularly in care at birth. And care at birth is the thing that would make the single biggest difference for stillbirths. So even though stillbirths have been missed in the Millennium Development Goals, there are investments and linked programs and priorities that are happening for women, that are starting to happen for newborns, that would make a difference for stillbirths. What's missing is twofold. First of all, we aren't counting the added value. The stillbirths are being reduced and they're missing in that equation. We're only counting the maternal deaths, we're counting the neonatal deaths. Care at birth, triple return on investment, we're missing one of the outcomes.
Now, to what extent can stillbirth be addressed and what can be done to achieve that?
One of the really new things in this series is not just highlighting the size of the problem, but the solutions. And we have undertaken estimates of how many stillbirths could be prevented by interventions that really are feasible where most of these deaths occur. And so we estimate that if care at birth was provided, with, particularly with C-section, that each year at least 700,000 stillbirths would be saved. And then something that really has fallen off the global agenda is treating syphilis during pregnancy, identifying and providing antibiotics for women who have syphilis, an ancient disease that was described probably in the early days of Lancet papers, but still a reality in southern Africa. And by treating syphilis during pregnancy, in fact, avoiding stillbirths is the biggest outcome. That's the biggest benefit of syphilis treatment during pregnancy. Around 136,000 stillbirths could be prevented every year.
But still, birth rates are going down and have been for years. We're doing okay, aren't we?
These new numbers not only give us numbers now, but give us trends from 1995 to 2009. Stillbirth rates are coming down at about 1.1% per year. And that's really hardly coming down at all, particularly when we compare with maternal mortality. The good news out over the last year that maternal mortality is really starting to make progress, about 2.5% per year, so more than double. The under 5 mortality really starting to progress, particularly in Africa where we've seen little progress. We're now accelerating progress. So stillbirths coming down, but not enough.
Well, Joy, that's all we've got time for, so thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.